For April the 30th, 2021, we talk about NieR Replicant, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and we ask you what you want to see in the next generation of console games. Welcome to Level 369. My name is Kole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm David Meismith.
And I'm Ben Merkel.
And you are listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. Welcome back, David.
Hey, good to be back. So I've got to ask, do we have like a rival podcast that's for people who hate video games? Like it's just made up of the people that do like more panics about video games?
No,
I think that once we get old enough, it'll transition to that.
If you believe some of the iTunes reviews, the podcast for people who hate video games is either Bonfireside Chat or Watch Out for Fireballs. But,
Good thing the reviews don't get to us, right, Cole?
It's also the podcast for people who hate podcasts. However, the listener base is very small.
It is, yes. Hey guys, I got my second shot. I'm vaccinated. I'm not immunized yet. 2 weeks for that. But
Isn't it great to be able to see in the dark?
I was a little bit worried that my pee hole closed up. But at this point, I'm fine. I've accepted it. Yeah.
Wait, so you got your shot literally today, right?
Yes. Yeah. In between recordings, I recorded with Gary about Hitman 3 earlier, and then about 5 o'clock. So about 4.5 hours ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I went and got vaccinated at the fairground. It was a mass vaccination event, and got my jab. We'll see. Any of my symptoms that I'm feeling, I'm worried that I'm just kind of psyching myself up about it. So we'll see.
Do you have like groceries and stuff stocked up to take care of yourself for the next 24 hours?
Yeah. I've got plenty of stuff hanging around.
Sweet.
Yep.
See, I feel like Hitman would not be the game. Like, that's a game that makes me paranoid about strangers sticking syringes in.
I didn't even put the two and two together. I didn't even put the two together. My vaccinator was really nice. It was a nurse. He was about like 6.5 feet tall, completely bald, piercing blue eyes. Spoke entirely.
You were leaving there without a vaccine.
It speaks entirely in like double entendres. So I'm like, oh no, I'm worried that the needle's gonna hurt. And say, oh, don't worry, you won't feel a thing soon, stuff like that. So we're good. Yeah, but I haven't got shit else going on. I've just been scanning documents, trying to get rid of some old paperwork, watching a new show that I had meant to watch a long time ago, and just kind of put off The Leftovers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like a cooking show?
No, it's like an HBO series that's based on a book. Like the idea is that just one day 2% of the population disappears in something that is.
So this is like Left Behind for atheists?
Kinda. It's like it's like a secular Left Behind kind of thing, and it takes place it starts 3 years after it, and kind of shows specifically like the effects on this one town in like upstate New York. It's like it's Twin Peaksy because it kind of jumps around from points of view around this little town and shows how their individual stories kind of intersect with each other. It's neat. I like the show quite a bit. I'd only ever seen the first few episodes a while back, but since I'm just scanning papers and receipts and stuff, I need something to keep my mind busy, and I've been watching that.
Is there a reason that is such a common premise? Because I feel like there's I think it's the 100, there's like Flight, whatever it was, we'll call it Flight 100. And then there's a bunch of other shows that kind of run with that idea of a group of people are gone inexplicably.
Yeah.
And I'm not aware of any of them where the people don't eventually come back. That's usually like end of season 1, end of season 2 stuff.
Well, I mean, that's what makes it scary.
Right.
If people would disappear and just stay away, that'd be paradise.
Yeah. But maybe it will be answered in this particular show. I don't know. That's a common. I mean, like David said, there's the rapture myth that is that is out there, common conception about that. I don't want to say myth because some people might believe it, and that's fine. But I think that it might just be kind of a common human thing because we have stories about disappearances all the time.
Maybe Hollywood's just unoriginal.
Also true.
No, it's not that.
It could never be that. Yeah. So that's me. I got my shot. David, what have you been up to? It doesn't have to be vaccination related, but it could be vaccination related if you want to.
Yeah, so I did in fact get vaccinated.
Cool.
Yeah, that's actually kind of the long and short of it. Did a expedition out to Tennessee to get vaccinated.
Okay.
Oh wow, cross state lines, eh?
Yep.
So
that's how you keep them from
tracking.
They still put the 5G in you, but they don't know where you are.
It's not attuned to the towers around you.
Mm.
So I was originally very early on signed up to do a vaccine over state borders because Cincinnati is right on the border with Kentucky. However, as I read into it and all that, there was specific orders don't do that, and I bailed out and just got one in Ohio to be certain that I wouldn't be turned away at the door. Was there any concern about that? Or are they at the point where they're yeah, come across state borders, or did you just assume if you could get through the system and no one was going to care that much?
Yeah, so I think they took my address when I signed up, so I figured they knew, and
That's
they also
That's on them then.
Yeah, and I think the weirdest thing is pretty easily, I think just about anyone could have shown up and just got the vaccine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think
that's a good thing, by the way.
Yeah, it's good for them to err
like
on
I
the
said,
side.
I'm a big proponent. I think they should load it in those dart guns from Jurassic Park and just
Yeah, no, just pop people on the side of the street, call it a favor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm really hoping. I'm hoping they actually go with what are they talking about? The passports?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Nobody's seriously proposing those, at least here in America. I think that there's a lot of fear mongering about it. Usual mark of the beast kind of thing.
Do you want to hear the saddest marketing tie-in that is being done with getting vaccinated?
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Staples is generously offering to laminate your little card that shows you've been vaccinated for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where can I find a Staples?
So, I heard apparently the new conspiracy theory is that people who get the vaccine will shed the vaccine proteins and infect other people.
There's a school in Florida or California or one of those places that's it's like a private school, but they say if you're a teacher and you get the vaccine, then you are no longer welcome to be an employee here.
What?
Yeah.
That's
my God.
Yeah.
That sounds like Florida, though.
Sounds a little bit closer to Florida. But, California did have measles outbreaks because of anti-vax stuff. So, no, they called it the experimental COVID-19 injection is what they called it.
Dude, after a certain point, I have a hard time feeling sorry for people who don't get vaccinated and then have bad things happen to them.
Yeah.
No, I don't feel sorry at all.
I feel sorry
I
that
feel kind of bad when bad things don't happen.
I feel sorry that they were lied to and that it hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why I don't get the whole 100 left behind thing, stuff like that. People are the problem. If the people disappear, you've taken away the problem.
Well, Dennis, how about you? What you up to?
No, I have to give the same story as everyone else. I got my second vaccine, so
cool.
That's all you're allowed to talk about in podcast preambles now.
Yes,
we actually got a notification from Biden about that.
Mm-hmm.
directly. It felt weird that he called me.
Oh, it was an honor is what it was. It was weird that that the phone didn't ring. It's just the time that I picked up the phone and tapped the button, he just happened to be on there and he said, "Listen here, Jack."
It was a FaceTime too, like him as if it was an effects team had photoshopped him in or put him in. But anyway, I had one night down hard and then was back and feeling great. We haven't done anything special to celebrate Furia family vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find out today that our new neighbors have Jack Russell Terriers.
Okay.
So I'm trying to decide how I feel about that. Because on the one hand, cute doggos. On the other hand, I don't know how loud my life is about to get.
Jack Russell Terrier, that's the Frasier dog, right?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. That's Eddie on Frasier.
Just get dog treats. You can teach them cool tricks. You can be best friends with them. They won't bark at you.
Nice. Well, so we've already got the dog treat.
You know someone who can hook you up with dog treats.
True.
I should be a brand ambassador. So the previous owner of our house had a tradition where they always kept a baggie of dog treats in their mailbox. And so at closing for this house, the guy is like, "Hey, look, there's something that we didn't tell you that you just need to know." And we're like, "Oh God, what did we walk into?" It's like, the house is haunted. You have to sleep there overnight.
We intended to.
They said, we keep dog treats in the mailbox, and all the neighborhood dogs have kind of been trained that you get a treat when you walk by. So that is a tradition we're going to ask you to carry on. We of course, we're more than happy to. But so I am kitted out for terrier treats when the time comes.
You inherited a duty and also the potential ability to unleash chaos mode across the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I mean, also, if you train all of the neighborhood dogs that you are a friend, then if you need to break into your neighbor's house, the dog probably won't bark at you.
Holy crap. I never thought about that angle. That's probably why the old person was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Had that cat burglar vibe. He had a real supervillain vibe to him. So, anyway, yeah. So we have some doggo friends. It does mean that there's fences that are going to go in our backyard. And I'm like, I like not having fences, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's up with me.
Nice. Ben, how about you?
All right. So, we have a maximum of 10 COVID shot stories among everybody who goes. So I'll add another one to the fire.
Okay.
I got my first shot on Saturday. It went super well. I think one of their soccer stadiums is open, and apparently now they have way more shots than people now. So that's maybe a good thing, maybe not. I don't know. But I was surprised. I was wiped out the night after the first shot. I hadn't heard anybody feeling effects from the first one, but I was super tired the night of. But then I felt 100% the next morning, so I was good to go.
Yeah, but my brother he got wiped out by the first shot when he took it. Yeah, and then he got wiped out by the second one too. So
yeah, I'm not looking forward to that one.
Did you call him a baby?
No. I asked him if he needed anything, if he needed food or ginger ale or
whatever. Such a baby.
No, I just said, hey, I know you probably wouldn't ask mom because you're proud, but if you need something, let me know and I can swing by and get it for you. It's cool.
That's almost worse. That's so condescending. Yeah, you really got him. Nice.
So much worse. I didn't mean to be. I was just trying to be helpful. But both of us, it's okay, we don't want mom to worry, so I'm not going to tell her exactly how bad I feel because I'm sick, but call the other shit, dude, I'm gonna die. Can you please bring me something, please?
So this is dumb, but the thing I'm really excited about for once vaccines are once I'm immune, stuff like that, is Huntsville got a new minor league baseball team.
Okay.
No.
It's the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
You made that up.
No, I did not. So, the mascot is a little like panda spacesuit in a trash can. That the trash can is a rocket ship.
Well, it's a raccoon. Is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to get. They're supposed to. They were supposed to have their first season last year, but then COVID happened.
Okay.
So now all of the merchandise stores are selling, Trash Panda 2020 undefeated shirts.
Nice.
See, minor league baseball is the best baseball.
Oh yeah.
It is like you walk in and everyone's like, all right, we're going to be kooky for the next 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's on board.
I'm down for it. Yeah. No, that's a good team name, good label, or a good logo or whatever it is. Yeah. Nice. I'm looking forward to 2 weeks from now, because I just got my shot today. I've got a date at the local bar arcade for some pinball. That's what I've got.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, also what I've got a date for is a regular kind of show that we're going to do here, right now, which is good because my Google Calendar just popped up. Do a regular kind of show, but with the grind, the multiplayer, and the boss. And why don't we get started with
The Grind.
The Grind, where we talk about the games we have been playing over the past period of time or so. David, you have been away the longest, so I will ask you first.
Yeah, so mine's not super exciting. I've been continuing on with No Man's Sky's expedition mode.
Okay.
So kind of, if you haven't heard before, in brief, it's a mode where you start fresh and have to make your way through...
Yeah, you described this the last time that you were on. You've got to make your way along similar routes
sweet.
to other people. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've made it through all 5 of the checkpoints, and I've completed all of the challenges except for one.
Okay.
And the last challenge is you have to visit 35 unexplored solar systems.
Okay.
Whoa.
Which in the base game would basically mean you have to visit 35 solar systems.
Okay.
Yeah, since this is the mode where everyone's kind of following along the same path, most of the systems I've been to have ended up being explored.
Okay.
So I've only explored like 8 solar systems so far. So I've got like 27 more, something like that.
So what do you just go in a straight line until you stop seeing other people?
Yeah, so I basically maxed out my my ships, or actually my freighter's ability to how far it can jump. So it's, you start out being able to jump something like between 200 and 300 light years. I can now jump like more than 2,000. So just kind of made a series of very, very long jumps to the middle of nowhere, and then now just kind of going wherever.
Nice.
Yeah.
So once you cap that off, if that is the final objective, will you go back to your main game? Like, what's your thought?
Yeah, so that's why I'm not sure. Apparently, once the season ends, the expedition character will become a regular character.
Okay.
And kind of where I'm at is probably because like I was much more competent this way time around, despite not having played nearly as much time on this character. I'm actually in a lot of ways much farther along. And so I'm not sure if this is going to become my new main character or not. So yeah, I haven't quite figured that out. I mean, all of the expedition rewards you can just get on your main character at any time. So I can just like do that. But for example, right now there's a Reddit group that is the No Man's Sky coordinate exchange. And you can look up like what sort of ship you want, what features you liked, and find a place, solar system that has the seed that makes that spawn and go farm it. And so that's what I'm doing right now. So like what I wanted is I really like there's one of the parts you can get for fighter craft are a little like R2D2 droid in the craft.
Okay.
And so I like that. So I found one of those that I like. I'm now just like sitting in the space station waiting for one I like to spawn so I can buy it.
Nice. What is the most popular feature? Like, is it just looks like an X-Wing?
So the straight up looks like an X-Wing can actually only spawn on explorer ships, not on fighters. Probably the most exclusive is the starting ship. With one of the expansions, they changed what ship you start with. So you no longer start with the little stubby nose fighter that is on the cover of the game. And so that's a real exclusive one. There's also weird, like kind of squid-looking ships that are real popular. But yeah, it's really cool. The one downside with the way the ships are is they've like a lot of the classes of ships, most notably the heavy haulers, they made it so that any ship could have its inventory upgrade to max. So there's really very little reason to have one of those ships, which is too bad because they actually have some of the coolest designs. So, but yeah, that's life.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the gameplay for the game is like evolving like year over year, where like I don't know.
Yeah, the fact you described this as a season implies that they're going to do this periodically, and I'm sitting here wondering if No Man's Sky has just been turned into a roguelike.
Maybe. Yeah, it's it looks like they're going to intend to do it every 2 months. So far, all of the like exclusive rewards are golden versions of existing models.
Okay.
So it's kind of, it is some new content, but for this one, I think they kind of, were more focused on getting it out. I'm hoping in the future, maybe it'll, actually be like some exclusive, I don't know, ships or weapons or something like that.
Yeah.
So that is all I have been doing though.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have 27 more unexplored solar systems to go. That is crazy that I don't know. It's already rare to see that many, and then they have just restricted the possibility even more. Like,
so I think a lot of it is, this is kind of the first thing. So it was really interesting. Like the very first milestone challenge I got was the it's not called this. I would call it, because I am a 12-year-old, the cunning linguist achievement, which is learn 50 alien words.
Yeah,
and that was theoretically part of like the final set of challenges, but was super easy. So I guess my point is, I think there's a number of them that I'm not sure they had a good idea of how difficult it would be. And I think they'll probably adjust things in the future.
Yeah, I mean, they've shown willingness to experiment in the past.
Yeah. The other thing I'm probably going to try, just because I found out it's actually a thing you can do, is the game appears to be a completely open world. However, what I didn't realize is, most games, like, that's kind of an illusion. Whereas this, it truly is a straight up open world. So if you stock up on enough oxygen to like keep refilling your life support, you can literally like park your freighter in orbit and jump off it and like land on a planet, thousands of miles below.
Okay. You don't burn up in the atmosphere?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
You also apparently can actually do that and jump through a black hole. And normally you drive your ship through to warp somewhere else, but apparently you can just jump through.
If they figured out how to make it work for ships, it probably works for people too.
True. Just most people are that stupid. Yeah.
Creative. We prefer the term creative.
Yeah, it's possible that we are being pulled into a black hole right now, and that's why things are getting weirder and weirder. Because for us, like in the moment, we wouldn't notice it because things are being stretched out relative to us.
Yeah. Time slowly, slows down. The closer you get to the event horizon until like right at the edge, just it's infinitely slow, so you never actually go in.
Yeah.
Wait,
I've heard that theory.
Wait,
I don't know.
It's all relative, right?
Wait, what?
What I heard was we
down.
are all every planet is a cell inside of a giant.
This episode brought to you by edibles.
Someone watching you go into the black hole might see time slow down for you, but it is very real for you going into the black hole.
So I think the actual thing was there's some way to harness like supposedly gravity or something or another for computing power. And the closer you get to the edge, the more computing power you have, to the point where right before you go in, you basically could just simulate the entire universe. And so, from the perspective of the people in the Matrix, time never ends, in effect.
Yeah.
I question that a little bit because it's like high gravity works the same way as like going through time faster for you compared to somebody who's not near that, right? And so like if you put a computer by it, even if it does the same amount of calculations that would take a minute now, it would get done like an hour later. So it's like slower. It's less effective by a black hole. But you can create a one-way time machine if you like do an orbit around a black hole. But yeah, and everyone knows this from Interstellar, right?
Ben, I am a one-way time machine.
Yeah, that's true.
See, the problem, Ben, is you know what you're talking about, and I
don't let him fool you. No, he does not. He just knows more words than the rest of us.
I read The Elegant Universe by Brian Greene.
Yeah,
I'm legit.
Anyway, so No Man's Sky, that all for you this time, David?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I have one as well. I went and picked up NieR Replicant version 1.22 something or other, random numbers.
We'll be here all night.
Yeah, I mean it ends with a ... so that means it goes on forever. Don't contradict me, Ben.
I'm not. I just haven't seen the title of this game, so I'm amused by it.
Yeah, the creator has said that it is arbitrary. What goes beyond that. I got it because even though I wasn't so crazy about the original NieR when we played it for WoW, I liked the ideas in it and the atmosphere and music and stuff. And NieR Automata is cool. And this apparently has new story content that links the two. So I was like, fuck it. Let's see what they did in order to get there. And also they improved the combat. Like they started working with people who work at Platinum Games to make the combat a little bit more fluid, which is one of the big problems with the original, is that it's just real clunky or whatever. And the stuff that's cool about NieR so far for a couple of hours that I've been going at it is still cool. But the problem with NieR was never like any individual system. It's that you really only fight like 3 kinds of enemies, and the dungeons are all real simple, and you do them a bunch of times. So, and when I went into the first dungeon, and I was like, oh, this is like exactly the same as it was before. And then I started poking around. It's like, yeah, the dungeons haven't changed. It's like this stuff around it. And I was like, oh, that's a real bummer. They didn't fix the thing that was wrong with it. They fixed the superficial stuff. So I'm still, a little bit into it. It's kind of nostalgic to go back to it, but I've been a little bit underwhelmed in terms of like, basically what I said, which is the
nostalgia can't carry you through a 70-hour whatever game.
Right. Oh, it's not like a 70-hour game. Like even with all the playthroughs, it's like a 25 something or other.
Would you say that it's a near miss?
I like that you wrote it out in Discord, and you sent it right when you said it, just so I would just so it would be 100% clear what you said. Maybe, probably. I like a thing that is good about this is that there are neat ideas here, and if people have patience for it, I would say there's probably better stuff to play. But if you're going to do it, it's good that it's been rescued from the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, and that it has been updated to run on modern stuff, and they've got a PC version of it, so it'll basically be around, for as long as we have PC games that can run on modern systems, it'll be there. So all of that is good. All of that's fine and dandy. It's just, I just wish it was... I wish that the stuff that was wrong with NieR was easier to fix.
See, I thought so. My like entirely surface level, whatever understanding of this game is that it's just waifus. Is that not in fact the case?
No. So like, there's definitely like a waifu kind of thing a little bit with some of the protagonists of NieR Automata, and that's primarily just because there's a very striking design aesthetic for the main characters. 2B is the android lady who you see associated with all of that. She's one of the main characters you play as. There are some other androids and stuff as well, but it's not. She's a little bit more complex than just being a waifu. That is like a just it's fun cosplay and fan art kind of stuff. The original NieR, not so much. Like leaning into like the hyper stylized like fashion kind of stuff. Sure. It is more like so far into the future that it's the past. Like an apocalypse has happened, and people have kind of reverted back to kind of agrarian. Kind of dress and such.
And 100 of them just disappeared. We don't know why.
I mean, people are getting sick, and that's one of the things that you learn over the course of the game is why that's happening. Also, one of the differences is that the version that we got in America, the main character is an older man. So basically, the motivation is there's a young girl who's sick. In the American version, you're playing as her dad who is trying to save her. The version that was most commonly released in Japan was you playing as the brother. This version has you playing as the brother. So like you have a new character that you're playing as in this one as well. So I've been curious about how that shakes out. Since I played the original. And I'm seeing that now, and it's pretty similar. Yeah. Any other questions about NieR Replicant version 1.22?
Cool that you're going back to it.
Yeah. I mean, until RE8 comes out, and then that'll be everything. But let's see. Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, this week is titled Dennis Plays Anything But Video Games.
Okay.
So I've got some stuff to talk about it, but it is all tangential to video games at best. First off, we finally finished that playtest module of Enter the Survival Horror, which is
nice.
the TRPG that has heavy thematic elements of survival horror, obviously. The specific module that we were playtesting is set kind of Resident Evil Mansion like. And man, the ending was perfect in so many ways. So over the course of the game, the way our different characters handled the stress, like I went into kind of the final encounter convinced that the big bad needed to be kept alive, to be held accountable for their crimes, and to fully explain what was going on. Another character had decided that the big bad needed to be killed on sight no matter what.
Okay.
And so we kind of go into the final encounter, find the big bad, and immediately that starts playing out. The big bad summons a giant juggernaut zombie, for lack of a better term. And while me and this other character are kind of fighting over what to do with the big bad, the other two players are fighting this juggernaut zombie. The one of them dies getting off a like massive critical hit, dealing huge amounts of damage to it, and then getting ripped limb from limb. And the final of the four of us gets the killing blow on this thing by over the course of the adventure. We ammo it's survival horror, so ammo is very limited. They had a handgun but no ammo for it. So they pulled the bullets off of their dead friend's body to get the killing blow on the juggernaut zombie. It was just like everything is going nutso around here. It was climactic in every single way, and was the perfect end to the module. So
nice.
It was just huge amounts of fun. And we kind of came into it on the premise of like, you're playtesting this, help us get the rough edges off and everything like that. But there honestly at the end of that session wasn't much to give constructive criticism on. It was just like, that was freaking awesome. So yeah, that was a good time. And that's the first time I think I've seen a TRPG module through to the end in that format. I know we've played like Time Stories and Mansions of Madness and kind of GM-less formats, but Adam Bucherri, who's the creator of the game, was GMing us through. And that was just a really cool experience to have from soup to nuts. So
nice.
Ton of fun. Enter the Survival Horror is the name of that system. And I think you mentioned Resident Evil 8 coming out. It will be coming out around the same time. So
nice.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't like a paid plug or anything, but like people who are curious about this, he has an itch page, right? Where you can get a hold of it?
Yeah, I believe so. He's got a system that is that's like for one shots, and then Enter the Survival Horror is more for like we want to have a couple sessions in a row. I think ours was like a 6 or 7 session campaign.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a blast. And yeah, this is you just knew him through various channels and got a chance to play. So
nice.
Yeah, it was great. Our conflict over like, I want to keep this guy alive. The other character, she wanted to kill him. I kind of stopped her, but then the bad guy had like a dead man or a kill switch for this bank of computers that had like all the recordings and information
the
on
combat
it.
data.
So I stopped her, went to that bank of computers, and right as I am getting through that, I hear a bang, and behind me the other player had crawled back and finished the job. So it was perfect in all these different ways. So really fun, fun. And the kind of stuff that kind of only can happen when you've got a good group of players that's kind of built up that level of comfort with each other over a couple sessions.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So that was a ton of fun.
I'm really happy to hear that this is as exciting around the table as it is in print. Yeah.
So yeah, that was Enter the Survival Horror. And then also today, I ordered this a couple weeks ago, but it arrived today. We got our Lumi keyboard.
Oh shit, I got one of those things too. Yeah, I've got another one coming actually.
Oh, nice. You've got one. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I saw it online as a basically like, hey, this is going to be Rocksmith for piano. And it is a 2-octave little digital keyboard. I think it it's kind of got multiple ways you could use it. If you're already a musician or whatever, it's kind of this cool little light up performer, on stage thing.
Yeah, I primarily got it to use with my little groove box that I got.
Yeah.
The Novation circuit is what I got it to use for.
So
the
it's a legitimate
thing.
tool for people who know what the hell they're doing, which is not me. I saw it and was like, ooh, pretty lights and Guitar Hero, highway. I'm down.
Yeah.
And so got it as a, like, I like this kind of thing, and maybe Luke and Milo would like this kind of thing. And we just spent the evening getting introduced to it and playing with the app that comes with it, that essentially is like a Guitar Hero for piano, or a Rock Band like. And it was really impressive. One of the things I'm excited about is you start with the kind of cascade of notes, just like in Guitar Hero or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to the interface that Rock Band had in Pro Keyboard mode.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Incredibly similar.
Yeah.
And I think that was a 2-octave keyboard to start as well.
Yes.
Although you could hook it up to the full thing, right?
Like you could use just like the regular MIDI adapter and plug in any MIDI keyboard to it. But I think that it only ever recognized the middle 2 octaves.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, they're treading familiar territory. But the thing that's cool is you can go from that highway and turn it on its side, so it's on a musical clef, and start getting familiar with at least looking at it sideways. Then the next step is musical notation, but each note is colored the way it would be if it was still on the highway.
Yeah.
And then the final step is literally you're just reading the sheet music. Which I think that is the piece I am most excited about, because I've done different musical things in the past, but I've never quite learned how to read music.
Right.
And so this, as much as it's a tool to learn how to play piano, which I'm sure it'll be great for, it will also be a tool to learn sheet music in a very natural way.
Yeah, I've only ever learned to read music. I mean, I was in band for a while, but I don't know. That skill is long gone. I learned to read sheet music for singing, but like honestly, I was never associating the notes with like, oh, that's this pitch. It was always relative, So I looked at the intervals and I knew like, okay, gotta go up 3 steps here, something like that. It was really just a way to jog your memory about the song that you had learned by muscle memory. And I've been really impressed with what they've done with these with the lessons. I mean, even like giving you short versions of the of the songs initially to try.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. Like so you go in and you can select by like, beginner, intermediate, advanced, whatever.
Yeah.
And in the beginner section, there's a lot of, I forget what they call it. It's like jump right in or quick play or something like that, where it goes to that one hook that you're thinking of when you see the song.
Or even like their beginner versions of the song where you're not necessarily playing the keyboard part. So like you would be playing like the melody that you know for it. So like if you're playing Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, you're not doing the arpeggiations that like you sing over. You're actually doing the dun 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 dun. Yeah, you're actually like playing along with that, like to get you to understand like what a simple melody you might know, how that might feel if you were plinking it out.
Which is literally what everyone does, when they walk up to a piano. And it's such a natural place to start from.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed that a lot. And then kind of passing it off between me and Luke and Milo, just kind of going around. It was really funny to see them, because again, this is a piece of equipment that you might find up on stage or in a more professional studio.
It's really well made.
And I think they were almost hesitant, like, wait, I'm allowed to touch this? I'm allowed to bang on this? Like, this is awesome! And then they go crazy. But so, at the beginning and end of each lesson, they would just absolutely go nuts playing keys. And then, okay, I got to hit these notes. Okay, got that. Okay, then go nuts hitting keys. It was a big excitement driver. It's really cool. I don't know if I mentioned this. This is like the thing about it. Not only does it have that kind of Rock Band crawl, but every key lights up
Yes.
Nice.
in kind at the time. So, at the next note coming up will kind of glow dimly, and then when it's time to play it, it kind of flashes more brightly in the appropriate color to be hit. And that kind of visual feedback in conjunction with the actual crawl that's showing those kind of notes coming down towards you is really cool.
Yeah. It's really impressive. Like, it's super bright. And if you're just like plugging it into your computer to play along to it, you can like customize what colors come up. So you can give it like, keep it like in grayscale, or, it just whatever you want it to look like while you're playing. You can just customize it because it's literally just RGB LEDs underneath it.
Oh, that's nice. I know you can kind of push the button at the top to cycle through a couple preset ones. But yeah, good to know you can do it completely customized.
Yeah, it's just straight up a MIDI controller that like has a special kind of software you can use like when you plug it in. But like any system, like Logic just recognizes it as a or GarageBand recognizes it as a MIDI controller.
Yeah, so maybe I'll have to look up Rock Band. And use that as an extension of my learning once I kind of get my sea legs a little better.
Rock Band instruments are fucking incredibly expensive now. So
yeah. Well, and this wasn't a small purchase because it is a 2-octave keyboard. So but I'm certainly, in comparison to other implements I could find to play Rock Band with, it's not that crazy.
Yeah, no, I got my first one back like last winter, and I've got another one coming because I want to be able to do the two-handed. I've only ever had like the 2-octave, and I feel like not like I've reached my limit, but like the thing that I want to learn is how to play two parts at the same time.
Yeah,
you
want to sit down at a baby grand in a shopping mall and blow people's minds.
Not so much.
To go back.
It's just I have stopped being engaged with like here's the treble part you're playing, and then here's the bass part if you played it at a different time. I want to play the two together. This is manufactured, like the keyboards are called Lumi, but it's manufactured by it's an established like electronic music.
Rolly, I think.
Yeah.
Which these all sound like names of gummy bears. I don't understand.
They do, yes. But like they have like a modular system, and so you can just snap two of these things together end on end, and it will recognize that two of them are there together. And there are even like little blocks you can get that have different controller kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can snap it to another 2 octaves, or you can snap it to I don't know what you call it, a touchpad or any one of a number of things.
Yeah, or if you want, go ahead.
Now I want to know what the limitations of that are. If you like snap like 50 together
to the moon,
how high do the frequencies go?
Oh yeah, that's how you. That's how you gain Sonic-based superpowers.
You can go out to 50, but you have to do it near a black hole.
Yes. Yeah. Well, then what's the point? The light won't even escape. You can't even enjoy like one of the main features of this thing. Yeah. Yeah. But you can get like little like drum machine pads for doing for tapping out patterns and stuff. Like it's a neat modular system. Like we'll cross that bridge when we get there if I decide to do anything more with that, but like it is a good complement to the little group box that I have for like doing
I'm excited
beats.
that it is perfectly functional as this 4-year-olds, now 5-year-olds, excuse me, Milo's birthday was last week. That's the other thing that happened. So it's perfectly acceptable as like a 5-year-old's first keyboard, all the way up through like professional grade stuff. And it's fun to have something that you're like, okay, I don't need them to run with it like that, but if they are into it and want to continue with it, like this is something that can stay with them and be used indefinitely.
It's certainly one of the friendlier ways to introduce anybody to learning an instrument, I think. Yeah.
Go video games. Thank you for doing that for us.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, that's me. So all video game related, but none quite video games.
Nothing else that is almost a video game, but not. Yeah. Ben, round us out.
All right. I got a weird one. Like the weird one. I'm pretty sure this will be fine revealing this, but I'm prepping for a virtual bachelor party, and so I played a round of Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer on PC.
Okay.
They still got servers out there.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I played one with random internet people. Somebody got a tactical nuke, and then everyone was calling them internet slurs. So that hasn't changed, I guess.
Time
multiplayer
warp.
Online.
Yeah.
Wait, are we talking like racial slurs or just insults? Because one is justified, the other not so much.
It didn't delve to that level of hatefulness, but it was more like your mom type jokes, that sort of thing.
Oh, okay, that's justified.
Yeah, I don't know. It was still darkish, but like, and then I was able to play like a private match. I was testing this with someone else just to make sure that it could like feasibly work with people across the country, which I think it can. Mm-hmm. So if you and a group of X other people really want to play that game, you still can, apparently.
X people, what?
Yeah, well, I don't know. However many people you want to play like a multiplayer match.
Oh, I thought you meant you and a group of others who used to be people but are now something else. As in
transhumans.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, my brain is not on normal levels right now, I guess. Yeah, whatever. That game is still that game, so let's maybe not talk about a 10-year-old. Other game I played this week, I've only played a little bit of it, but I started playing Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Oh, dang. Yeah.
I've never played a Yakuza game. There's not a lot of games out right now, in my opinion. And then this one had good reviews. It was a RPG, long length, sink your teeth into it, that sort of thing. I'm only a couple hours into it. I enjoy it so far. It puts Metal Gear to shame. It seems like in terms of the amount of cutscenes it has, but I'm down with that for now. So
it's very different than other Yakuza games. But the series has always been like the level on which I've enjoyed the ones that I've played, which is the first one for PS2, and then like a third of Yakuza 0. They're just like really good mob stories, you know? Yeah, and that is a-okay.
Yeah. It's like heartening to see like character development in a video game. It's that can happen. That's a possibility. So I don't know. Like it's a bummer that like I feel like we only get that sort of thing when like a Naughty Dog game comes out, maybe. But like just like an example, like I guess I don't know if this person's the villain or not, but it seems like they're going to be the villain. But like in the opening scenes, you kind of get a backstory of like what they were like as a kid and what happened to their family and that sort of thing. And it's just purely a video that you watch before you do any sort of gameplay or whatever. But it's just cool to see like the amount of time investing in that. That said, like I've heard that like basically they like slow roll a lot of the features where it's like you might spend 10 hours in the game before you get certain features like unlocked, and then you need to like specialize in certain things before certain characters become unlocked. But I'm down. I'm fine with that. Like that's kind of what I'm signing up for.
Yeah, it's like a job system, kind of.
Yeah. So so far so good. I guess that's like a nice game to play kind of in the background, but it seems like there's a lot of it, so that's cool.
How like how meaty or how lengthy are the encounters? Kind of the turn based. Yeah.
So the part of the storyline I know is like from the trailer where it's like kind of like a Departed type vibe where it's like you take the sentence for the family sort of thing and you get released eventually and then story happens. Yeah. I was talking mechanically, like the actual like fights that you get into. Because it goes from being okay. Sorry, I was going to get there. Yeah. So I'm at the part of the story where before all that yet, and so it's kind of like it takes place. I forget what it's somewhere between 2000 and 2010, somewhere around there. But I'm just like a runner for the Yakuza family, so I'm basically like running around and doing tasks for them. You're like a bodyguard for one of the sons of the family. You can already kind of see the characters that are going to be like bigger players, like they introduce like the chief of police. But for now, it's like you're kind of like running around and people down for money sort of thing, and so it's like and that's just a way for them to introduce you to like the fight system with like pretty low stakes. It's I haven't played any of these games before, so it's like it's interesting to see a Grand Theft Auto like game, except there's no cars and it's very like boxed in so that you can have a lot of things, and not have to do like really long draw distances. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting so far, but
nice.
I don't have a tremendous amount to say of it because I've only spent a couple hours in it. But yeah.
Neat. Yeah. Well, I'll be curious to hear what you say going forward.
Yeah.
What's I understand that series to be like a very goofy series on the whole. What's your is there been like a really funny moment that stands out so far?
There's nothing like too over the top yet. I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, judging from the trailer, there's like an electric bat, so it's like I know it definitely gets to that direction. But for now it seems like pretty grounded. Yeah.
Does this still have all the weird side things like, I don't know, board games and
yeah, like I know that stuff's coming up, but it hasn't been like it's not available yet. Like there's like you can walk into like casinos and stuff like that, and some like random shops and stuff, but there's no like they haven't been introduced formally yet.
Yeah. To answer Dennis's question, something that happens with the series is that the tone is really bifurcated. To the point where the main story is a very serious, like still light and still like engaging. It's not a death march or anything. But like straight laced kind of crime story. The side stuff is where you're like helping do movie shoots and like escorting people across town and doing all the goofy shit.
So it's Witcherized where the fun stuff is all on the side quests.
Yeah.
Would it be accurate to say the main stuff tends to be a lot of like melodrama?
Yeah. Good like Godfather stuff.
Very cool.
And that's all you had, Ben?
Yep.
Seems like that's all we got.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we ask you a question and then you answer it. Dennis, what did you ask the nice people?
Yeah, so I wanted to know what people are hoping to see evolve within this generation. A lot of times it takes a couple months for a new generation to really start finding its stride, and the games at the end of a console generation look way different, feature-wise, graphics-wise, whatever-wise, than at the beginning. So what do you most hope to see or see more of as devs figure out how to get the absolute most out of this generation's capabilities?
Yeah, and I will get us started here with Ollie, who says, games are beautiful. They have been for years, really. Take something from the PS3 era, like Split Second, the racing game. It's still unbelievably gorgeous. Split Second's a good game. I'm happy that Ollie mentioned Split Second, because that's...
Agree.
It's been a while since I thought about that game. I digress. Ollie continues. The reason I bring this up is that I would be incredibly disappointed if devs kept trying to use all that power to make things pretty. They are already pretty. So I want to see some of the promises that Peter Molyneux was making back in the Fable days start to come true. Have my actions as a protagonist really be reflected in the world. Have NPCs really remember me and what I did, not just the quests that I've fully completed. The consoles have the power to do that sort of data crunching now, so I hope that developers finally do it. Yeah, at this point, I almost would be pretty upset if anybody fulfilled the promise that Peter Molyneux made, where you could plant a tree at the beginning of the game and then it would be, go from being a sapling to being a full-grown tree over the course of the game. Like that that always needs to be remembered as the bullshit that it was when he said it.
Yeah.
But I understand what Ollie is saying, and I fundamentally agree with it. I think that there are complexities and simulations that the cycles that the technology can account for that are not just visual.
Yeah, although I feel like that's the exact opposite of what's happening. Like, we've now decided that, found out that, people will play for, roguelikes and battle royale. We don't need actual content.
Oh, we can get content.
And with early access, you only need like the content.
Exactly.
We're talking about stuff that's happening like in the at the edge of the console, at the bleeding edge of the technology, AAA stuff, and that doesn't those tricks don't tend to happen in that space.
If I can't have a tree, then I want to have a kid at the beginning of the game and have them hunt me down in their teenage years.
Yeah, because I neglected them. Let's see, David, what does Tom say?
Tom says, less pretty, more polygons and interactable objects. Actually, just that sort of thing in general. I get bored with procedurally generated planets, but an authored space that has procedurally generated damage? I'd love to see more of that. We deserve a decent Godzilla game, and the only way to do that will be the ability to actually wreck a city. Or my silly answer, use the hardware to generate AI auteurs to tell players they don't understand the art. We've moved beyond requiring a human to do that.
Yeah.
I like this the serious answer, like the promise of being able to truly wreck a place. You know, it's no fun destroying something if it doesn't feel like someone put effort into creating it.
If I'm not undoing somebody's lifetime of work, then what's the point? Yeah. I mean,
you want a game where you permanently destroy the models that the artist created?
Yep.
Oh, God.
It's like a reverse NFT. Yeah. It takes it off the blockchain. Yeah. Yeah. I like this. I want to see what the next generation of like Red Faction Armageddon is. Not Armageddon, Red Faction Guerrilla. Armageddon was the shitty one.
Holy shit. I just realized, like, what if you could buy a Binding of Isaac seed as an NFT and died a little bit inside? It's coming.
I
God
hate it.
damn it. It's coming.
Yeah.
See, that would only be a problem if NFTs actually were anything.
But like somebody gets a link to a JPEG and then a mile of the Amazon burns. So like oh.
Like I said, more people, more problems.
Yeah. Ben, what does Greg say?
Greg says, we've been teased with games where choices matter, such as BioWare and Telltale games. I'm hopeful that with advanced consoles, better AI, and more memory to keep everything straight, we can see games that really do that, with a more chooser and adventure-like storyline, which we directly control with our choices. The main overall plot will stay the same, but the missions, locations, gameplay, and the endings will be determined by our choices, so that we get a lot of replay value out of the game if we want to see all of it, or at least hours of enjoyable watching others do the hard work for us on YouTube.
See, this is funny because like a lot of the responses so far have been hoping for the technology to get to a point where all of these incredibly labor intensive things are done automatically for you. Like something as divergent as that, like it is difficult for me to imagine a world where that is a function of anything other than the amount of blood that is fed to the machine in developer overtime.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
yeah.
I'm laughing mostly to avoid being real sad on the microphone.
Well, like the tricky thing with that is like you have to have things be independent if you want to have like a different going on at once, but then there's not interaction, and like that's the point of the
I mean, I think the best example of this type of thing would probably be like Way of the Samurai. Something like
where
that.
it's real short and meant to be gone through many, many times.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Hades because that's the du jour. And the way that, you know, after 75 plus runs, 80 plus runs, I'm still seeing unique dialogue and unique interactions and story bits. And I'd be curious to know what their process was for generating that amount of story, because that is exhibit A. And, you know, for as implausible as it sounds, we are getting more towards a place where you can have the incredible divergence still feel authored.
Yeah.
As a side note, I've just found apparently there's unique dialogue for doing a run without taking any of the upgrades.
Really?
Yeah, like I forget what they're called, but like the god
Boons.
powers.
Yeah, boons.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Mentioning Telltale games here, I want a game, but where every time you do something kind of wholesome, you get a little Telltale style like prompt in the upper corner that says Pepperidge Farm will remember this. Yeah. Let's see, Dennis, what does Sean say?
Sean says, I would love more better AI for enemies and NPC characters and where actual towns feel properly populated and alive. I think that's what Cyberpunk first showed off, but didn't deliver.
Yeah. Yeah, no, better routines for individual folks. But then also, realistic AI would not actually be as fun as simplified, gamified AI as well. You know?
I always think of there's an interview once with like a Navy SEAL who was talking about like, yeah, you know, if this is a game where you're fighting insurgents, like the way you train insurgents is give them a gun and say, all right, you're an insurgent now. Like most video game AI is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I just like to imagine that this is out of a concern for the well-being and self-actualization of the NPCs. Like, I want to be able to follow them home at night and see them interact with their loving family and really just live their best lives.
And really just crank it outside their window. Sorry.
Which game are we playing? This is Leisure Suit Larry, the next gen edition,
as opposed to Laser Shoot Larry.
Yeah.
I feel like just apply Shadow of War's Nemesis system to everything.
Yeah. Let's see here. Ricky says, being able to choose what you want a console to focus its power on, be it frame rate or graphics, has only recently become a thing. I would love to see this expanded upon. Do you want 5-digit frame rates? Turn down the graphics to PS1 mode. Would you prefer the most cutting edge, beautiful graphics in 16K resolution? Bump it up to slideshow mode. Do you want super real looking flowing water particles? Move the physics slider from Wile E. Coyote all the way up to special relativity. AI? You can set it anywhere from very stable genius to literally nobody else. Not only would we be able to play games in whatever manner we prefer, it is a way of future-proofing your games so that the next few generations. By the time we get to PS7 or so, you could just activate all the modes at once and play at reasonable frame rates. Basically, I want every game to include a meta version of how you manage the power in the power in your ships in Star Wars Squadrons.
For the AI piece, that there is a facsimile of that in The Last of Us 2, right?
That's like a basic like chess AI thing too, is like just restricting the number of moves that it can look ahead.
Wait, which part for The Last of Us 2?
Well, for setting the AI, there's like a lot of different sliders for what kind of difficulty you want.
Yeah, whether you want enemies that are like wilier, or you want enemies that take more bullets and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, my favorite difficulty slider thing is still Shadow of Wars, where they have a difficulty mode that's just like both all of your special abilities and your enemy's special abilities do like double damage and recharge twice as high. So it's like,
tuning it for more incident.
Reward.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see, David, what does Tim say?
Tim says, I'll buy another RE4 re-release if they make it. I can't help it.
Yeah.
I did that. That is inspiring me to change my story for the end boss. Yeah, no, I'll rebuy RE4 no matter what. I don't care how many versions of it I have. So many. Ben, what does Gwen say?
Gwen says, "Let me know if I can pause cutscenes or not."
just have that on the screen.
Yeah, it probably hurts if you try and pause and it skips the.
Yeah, no, that's a bummer. At least most have a little hold prompt now. Hold this.
I still can't believe that it's not standard to just be able to go back and rewatch cutscenes.
Depends on the game, which I guess is what you meant when you said you're surprised it's not standard. Yeah.
the true function that we need from the ESRB is, yes, to rate the games for content, but then also to enforce standards around cutscene etiquette.
Yeah, and distance between save points. Yeah. Or to put a little alert on. Some games do this where it says it's been X amount of time since you saved, before you quit. Yeah. And Dennis rounds out. What does Phil say?
Yeah, another thing that should be standard by now, but Phil says subtitles that don't qualify as an eye exam.
Yeah, as the resolution gets higher, the text gets smaller. Although good games, conscientious developers put in not only size, customization, but also color and whether or not there's a background for the subtitles. Yeah, fucking make your games accessible, please. Hi, Dottie. I didn't mean to swear in front of you. Oh.
We've offended the cat. We need to make amends. Yeah, I've actually felt this playing The Witcher 3, and I haven't felt it enough to go look and see if there's sliders in the menus. But the subtitles on that are tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, so we can do ours. I mean, Ollie pretty much summed mine up. The things that are visually impressive can also relate to the play. So like the Hitman games, just because I've got those on the mind now, probably couldn't have been done. You couldn't make the Miami level on previous generations of hardware, right? So like the number of things that you can show on the screen is technically like a visual kind of thing. But it affects play. Like everything that I want affects play. And yeah, I would like to see different versions of that. That quite frankly, I pay other people to think up, not me. At least I vote with my dollars for people to do that. Let's see, David, how about you?
Yeah, I want good gameplay.
Yeah. Like better gameplay, or you want gameplay that has nothing been good?
I don't know. I want them to stop making everything a roguelike battle royale.
No. There's plenty of stuff that's
more
not
authored
that.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want authored plus gameplay.
Yeah.
It does kind of suck that there's like a 2 to 3 year like development cycle for games. Like one, everyone's like, all right, I can do that. And then this like wave of a fad will last for a long time.
Yeah.
It doesn't just pass over quickly.
Yeah. Let's see, Ben, how about you?
Yeah, so this is gonna make me sound like a fanboy for this, but think of like Azure, like AWS or something like that. Like I would want a game that can only run on that and can't run locally on your own computer, because I think that would be cool. So like it's something that would have to be like highly parallel. You have to be doing like a billion things at once, but then it has to be like eventually consistent. So like you need to be okay with getting your results in like a minute or 30 seconds instead of like immediate.
Yeah.
So some type of like simulation game, maybe. But
Simulation Simulator. Oh, I love that game.
It simulates all possible simulations.
Yeah. Something like that.
Nice.
Consoles aren't going to do that, but
No,
it's just what I want to be in the future.
Hey, still counts as next gen. Stuff's happening on the clouds. Yeah. Let's see. And Dennis, how about you?
Screw all you guys. I want it to be so realistic my eyes are bleeding.
I want onlookers to be fooled. I want them to try and climb through the window.
Yeah. No, I think one thing that's been really nice and increasingly common is just how easy cross-platform play is. I think of Star Wars Squadrons, where just half the time I didn't even think when I asked someone to play about what platform they were on, because it was just that easy to find them and play with them.
Yeah.
And so I think that is something that should be universal by the end of this generation.
Hopefully.
I feel like the next generation of consoles, the pitch for it is, hey, you can get a graphics card.
Yeah. Let's complete the transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody, for writing in your responses. If you would like to participate in these in the future, you can go to facebook.com/thelevelpodcast and watch for the prompts to go up on Monday afternoons. Thank you for posting that, Dennis.
My pleasure.
The end boss.
And now it is time for the end boss, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games that are exciting to us. Dennis, what is going on in the bleeding edge world of Tetris Champions?
Yeah, so on the bleeding edge is your fingers might not have to bleed to be good at Tetris anymore.
What the bloody fuck?
Autoplay. I'm keeping it in. Continue.
You play a special song while playing Tetris, and that increases your skill. No, so in competitive scenes, which I am now aware of, for like original NES Tetris, there's a couple schools or two schools for how you input. The first is just holding down the button like you would as a normie playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
The other is called hypertapping, where you essentially vibrate your finger on whatever button you want. And at the super high levels, it's important to do that to be able to get pieces in place before they've fallen. That is, kind of become the standard if you want to be competitive. It's very difficult to do, very straining on your muscles because you're, you're throwing everything into moving fast. And the fastest you can get up to is about 15 hertz or 15 times a second. I think that is. What's a hertz?
Yeah.
That's
Per
there
second.
You go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of effort, and legitimately fast tapping, but that is super high strain on players.
I know
go ahead.
at one point in one of my college classes, they said that generally speaking, the top movement rate for humans tends to be about 10 hertz. So 15 hertz is like 50% more than what you can normally do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so like this scene is incredibly competitive. This is something like the Tetris World Champions back when people congregated in person. This was done at the Pearl and Richard Games Expo, and it was always fascinating to watch. But there's also like a documentary you can see called The Ecstasy of Order, which is just a chef's kiss name for a documentary about Tetris. That kind of talks about what goes into being one of the best people at Tetris. So like these are people who are like performing at a really high level. Getting to 15 hertz, like, on an NES, that's gigantic, but there's a way to surpass that, right?
Yeah. And that's, to do that is truly an elite feat. Like not many people are going to be able to do hyper tapping.
Okay.
However, there recently has come a new way to hold the controller and input to the NES that gets up to 20 hertz called rolling.
The kids call it rolling.
Easy to do.
And it's a craze that's taking over a high school near you. Continue, sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's fairly intuitive once you see it. Basically, you kind of, on top of the controller, you use a thumb to apply light pressure to whatever button you want to hit, and then use 3 or 4 fingers to kind of tap on the back of the controller, essentially using the whole controller as one big button. But with the expanded area on the back, you can use multiple fingers to tap and speed yourself up by a significant factor. So this is kind of very new to the scene. There's like 1 or 2 people that are starting to do it. Everyone's got a different way that they're holding the controller to make it happen. But expect this to very quickly take over because it is, a third improvement over how fast you can get, going up to 20 hertz from 15.
Yeah. And like, NES Tetris, specifically the version that they play, eventually there comes a point where like it will just instantly drop, not just effectively, just where you don't have the ability to, where a regular person with regular reflexes has the ability to maneuver. Like it literally just will instantly drop and stack you out. So like this is like effectively during play, this is a way to get maybe like a few extra seconds of maybe clearing some lines during that final panic stage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And it made a difference. I'm looking. I think it's just in the video that they talk about it. But the person who used this set a new record for, I think, high score in a tournament and for number of Tetrises.
yeah.
At above, I think it's like level 19 or something like that is the next to highest, or as far as you can push it and still meaningfully play the game. So it is a immediate and clear advantage over hyper tapping and easier, which will be really interesting to see how that impacts the scene. I just think like this is like getting a new rule in football. Like it is interesting that a game like Tetris suddenly has this new way to play that is going to sweep through it after all these years.
It's probably going to cause some turnover at the upper levels of play.
I believe it.
So the other thing that I think's cool here is, I don't know, I feel like most of the time with competitive video gaming, I think it's kind of lame because it seems like it often is people playing the game like quote unquote the wrong way. I mean, obviously that's not literally true. There's no great way to play, but you know what I mean? It's like people finding ways to kind of skirt the intentions of the game. Whereas I kind of like that competitive Tetris is just being really freaking good at Tetris.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Tetris is the rules, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Neat. This is a good story, and it makes me miss PRGE, so thanks, I guess.
He'll be back soon, hopefully.
Hopefully. Not this year. Let's see here. I've got one. I was going to talk about just a game that I heard about, but since we last talked, Facebook held an event, or Oculus held an event, where this was a Capcom event, actually, where they revealed this. Anyway, Resident Evil 4 is being ported to VR on Oculus Quest 2, which, I mean, I'm feasibly going to wait until the Oculus Quest 3 because that's coming here in a few months. I don't know when Resident Evil 4 VR is coming out, and I can probably wait. I'm not going to buy an outdated piece of hardware when a new one's coming out right away. Anyway, I'm just talking about my own personal plans, but it's taking the classic game and putting it into VR, and it looks badass, and I am really excited to be in those stressful firefight situations.
So, but Cole, aren't there parts in this game where you have to like dive roll through a grid of lasers?
Later on, yeah.
That seems like that is purpose made for causing people to throw up.
I think that maybe they will find a way to get around that.
Clearly, you do not.
A Jones button to the controller.
Clearly, you don't understand the potential of the new Oculus Rift.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm a believer, as somebody who can get motion sick looking at a painting in a gallery. Like, VR has not really triggered it for me that much. I think that a lot of the problems have been worked out, at least for me and my particular kind of motion sickness. It's not a monolith, right? But yeah, give me them
Good.
lasers.
I expect to see your dive rolls. Can't wait.
I'm not going to physically do them. It'd be a fucking disaster. All I have is just a bedroom, like is what I play it in. Oh man!
You need to buy an Oculus and a gym for the new Resident Evil port.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it. There is no release date just yet, but per the response that we got in the multiplayer there.
Tim, get out your wallet.
Yep. Just going to buy whatever version is here. And this will be the first majorly different one. And man, I cannot wait to shoot some Plagas in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ben, what's going on over with CD Projekt Red?
This is kind of like a small, like, non-article. So the story that came out in a couple places was that CD Projekt Red, they released a statement talking about how many games that they refunded. And so they talked about they sold 13 million copies of Cyberpunk and they refunded 30,000. So that sounds like a really small number until you go on to read the detail that the majority of games that were refunded were done so through Xbox and PlayStation, and that like a total of 2 million games were refunded. So really, this article is saying CD Projekt Red did not really refund any of their own games, but rather Sony and Xbox did.
They're CD Projekt Red, not CD Projekt in the red.
Yeah. Wait a minute. So that they were refunded to Microsoft. Wouldn't CD Projekt Red then? Wouldn't they have had to issue I don't know, reconcile that?
One would think. So I mean, this story kind of came out of an announcement that CD Projekt made as like a shareholder type meeting. So they're somewhat incentivized to talk about how this was not a big deal, I think.
Right.
And that might be the point of the report.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just more surprised that like the percentage through the platforms and not through the game company itself.
Yeah. That must have been like revenue that did not come to them, rather than refunds that they didn't give. Yeah, because I have no idea what the payment back end is, but I can't imagine that with the processing fees, literally every time you spend the money on the PS Store, that is immediately debited into, or credited, whichever one is right, into the publisher's account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Dottie, can you fucking stop?
Don't cuss around the cat.
Oh yeah, sorry.
He doesn't cuss around the cat. He cusses to the cat.
Yeah, she needs to know I mean it. Yeah. So you said what? 2 million were refunded on the consoles?
Yeah, I looked it up, and there's a new story like in February 2021 that 2 million were refunded around that time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Huh.
Well, that's like 1 out of 6 sold. Which
hopefully, because it's not functioning on those consoles.
Yeah.
So you got a refund?
I did, and through PlayStation.
Yeah. Huh.
I figured I would buy it again once it was functional, and
they figured that too, and that's why they were okay doing the refunds.
Yeah, and I will say I do appreciate that experience, man, which gave me a broken game. And they patched it, and it still broke years later. I'm sorry, David, if we have a difference of opinion. I've just been hurt too many times.
Yeah,
understandable. In America, everyone has the right to be wrong.
Oh.
David, what's going on with this coin that you posted a link about?
Yeah, so apparently the U.S. Mint is introducing a series of $1 gold coins. For each of the states and U.S. territories, each honoring a innovator from that state or territory. And so New Hampshire is honoring Ralph Baer, who invented the first video game console.
Yeah.
So basically discovered how to control things on a TV to make games. It's also a little unclear from what I read, but it appears that may also be like the first video game in general, but I'm not certain of that.
Ralph Baer's the Odyssey guy. Like he's the one who was playing with oscilloscopes and figured out how to directly control the electron gun on a regular display on a CRT.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, apparently contributed to the Simon toy.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
Dude's everywhere.
Yeah. So apparently, on one side is a picture of his first console, which was called like the brown box.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, it says like Player One and home video game system as name.
Nice. I love that brown box. All those old Odyssey, the industrial design on those. Bring back wood paneling on consoles, you fools.
Bring back wood paneling on everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I got. Some coins.
Maybe another story of this is like, what does the U.S. Mint do? Like, where they decide to make gold coins like once every 5 or 10 years for different things.
Yeah, the U.S. Mint tries to keep justifying itself. you know, really all this is distractions for to keep people from asking why they still make pennies.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's
I
just
thought the question was, why do they still make dollar bills?
Oh, I mean, pennies are the big one. It's a big handout to zinc states. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Yeah.
Gotta get that zinc fever.
The zinc industry would like people to not know about zinc fever. I don't know. I just like the idea of somebody eating pennies and getting zinc fever.
It actually happens generally if you try to weld galvanized steel.
What? Is that an actual thing? Zinc fever?
Zinc fever.
Okay.
What?
That's scary.
To Wikipedia.
Huh. I did not know. I was just assuming it was a joke.
Nope.
We have lost the plot, so I think that it is time for us to end the episode. How do you all feel about buttoning it up?
Button zippers.
The credit.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this level number 369. Nice. We are super happy to have you here. I'm trying to think of special, things to do, but you know how to support us if you've been listening. Yes, please get vaccinated. Demand, supply exceeds demand at the moment, so go ahead and do it. I haven't been.
Not only that, you should do it so much, you should get vaccinated twice.
I mean, depending, you probably shouldn't get two of the J&J. Yeah. Go ahead and get vaccinated. Let's keep it to that, because you know all the other stuff, how to support Duckfeed. So I've been Kole. You can find me on Twitter at Kole Ross.
I've been Dennis Furia. You can find me on Instagram at Deck of Wonders.
I've been David Maismith. You can find me out and about because I'm vaccinated.
And I've been Ben Merkel.
And stick around for some titles. Okay, I have 4. I have Almost a Video Game But Not. I have Laser Shoot Larry. I have Simulation Simulator.
Yep.
And I have Zinc Fever. I don't have Zinc Fever. I wrote down Zinc Fever. Dennis, how about you?
Yeah, I had 5. I had the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
That's a TM.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a fun name to say. Yeah. I have this episode brought to you by Edibles. I have Near Miss, NIER. And then I too had Laser Shoot Larry.
Okay.
And Simulation Simulator.
Okay. Ben, what you got?
I'm just gonna share. I didn't hear Laser Shoot Larry when it happened, but I would really like that one. I also like Zinc Fever.
Okay.
Even though I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now, and apparently, like, these are some of the names for it. It's Zinc Shakes, according to Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm. The consumption of large quantities of cow's milk, either before or immediately after exposure, is the traditional remedy. Oh, that must be because to stop from binding to calcium. Yeah. Because it gets in your bones and your blood.
Whether it's Zinc Fever or Zinc Shakes, I think it could both be musical movements.
Okay, yeah, so apparently it is, Metal Fume Fever.
Yes.
Or Zinc Shakes.
But you said Zinc Fever, and I thought that was really fun, just like it was like Beatlemania, but Zinc Fever. Just all the kids are crazy about zinc now.
They also call it Monday Morning Fever. Like, what?
Huh. Let's see.
Or Brass Shakes.
David, did you have any?
Yes, I had in Tetris, the rules is the rules. And we have lost the plot.
By votes, it's Laser Shoot Larry.
Yeah, I'll go to bat for that. I like that one.
Any objections?
Only to saying it because it's hard to say.
Well, I mean, and that's why we said it, because the other one's hard to say too. The right one's hard to say. Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna go and go to bed and hope I don't wake up in the middle of the night with a fever.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And we will see.
Cole.
Yes.
It takes two.
It takes two. How does I'm going to be streaming on?
Part two.
I should be streaming on Thursday again. How do you feel about doing Monday night again?
Yeah, we can do that.
Cool.
Thumbs up.
All right.
So we eat. Peace, yos.
All right. Later, everybody. Have a good week. Be safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.